everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Crimson, and in this video we are going to be doing something a little bit different. So I've been thinking about what other content I could make based on some of the other things that I collect. As you guys know, I collect art books, which is the primary focus of this channel. But I collect a lot of other, nerdy stuff as well. So I thought to myself, you know what, just for something new, we'll try it out, see how it goes. If the video doesn't do well, I won't continue doing it. But in this video, I am going to be showing you some of my Nendoroid collection. 1/3 of my Nendoroid collection, to be precise. I absolutely love Nendoroids. I know there's a big debate on Funko Pops versus Nendoroids, and I just think Nendoroids are so much better. If you like Funko Pops, that's fair enough. Nothing wrong with them. But, with Nendoroids, you can pose them. They come with different accessories, different arms, different faces, different hair, and I love them to bits. So I'm going to break this series into 3 parts because I have 3 shelves of Nendoroids. So each part is going to be one of those shelves. So without further ado, actually, before we start, sorry, some of the Nendoroids you may have seen in some of my previous videos. Whenever I record an art book video, if I have any Nendoroids from that game, I always try and show them off at the beginning of the video. So you might see some familiar faces, but for the most part, you guys are gonna be seeing brand new ones. I buy my Nendoroids from retailers when possible, but at the same time, if there are some that I really want, I am stupid enough to buy them on resale on eBay, and oh boy, some of them are very, very expensive. I'm not going to say the price for all of them, but some of the ones that cost a fortune, I will say, just more for comedic purposes rather than anything else. So let's get started. We'll start off with a familiar one. So first up is the Hunter Nendoroid from Bloodborne. If you have watched the Bloodborne art book series, you have seen this guy in part 1. Really cool Nendoroid. Comes with a bunch of accessories, which I like. Different faces, different weapons. I have him with the saw cleaver and the hunter's pistol, and he also comes with a lamp with a messenger attached to it, which I just think is a really cool little accessory for it. So as a Bloodborne fan, this was a absolute must buy. Next up, continuing the trend of Bloodborne, we have the doll. Again, if you have seen the Bloodborne art book series, you have seen her before. Very cool Nendoroid. Whoops. Very simple. Doesn't have that many accessories, but I think it really captures the look of the character, the position of the hands, the hair, the eyes, the facial expression, all really cool. And she really does look like Lady Maria in this, which I don't know if it's purposeful. I know it's purposeful in the game, but I don't know if Good Smile meant to make her look like Maria or not. Next up this is a very obscure one. I don't know if you guys have heard of this game, but it is one of my favorite games. This is Jill Stingray from the game Valhalla. Valhalla is a virtual novel slash bartending simulator game, and she is the character that we play as. I don't really like visual novels. Again, nothing wrong with them, but just not for me. However, this game really does. It's so fun. The characters are great. The dialogue is hilarious. So when I saw that she had a Nendoroid, and I actually did not expect her to have a Nendoroid based on how kind of obscure the game is, I had to get her, and I have her with a little margarita glass and her cat for her cat actually looks a lot like my cat. We both have black void cats. Next up, if you are a fan of Chainsaw Man, which I am, we have Aki Hayakawa. My favorite character in Chainsaw Man, next to Asumitaka. I have him posed with his cigarette and making the con gesture. Normally I try and stick to one character per series for Nendoroids. However, I'm a diehard Chainsaw Man fan, so I have about 3 or 4 Chainsaw Man characters. Some of them are going to be in part 2. Actually, let me just show you the back of him real quick before we move on. You have his ponytail, which he chops off to feed to the fox devil and all that stuff. So some of them we'll see in this video, others we will see in parts 2 or 3. Okay, next up is, if you're a fan of Naruto, we have Kakashi. I really like him. Kakashi's my favorite character in Naruto. I grew up watching Naruto and I absolutely loved it. It was probably my favorite show as a child, and I just thought Kakashi was so cool. So when I was doing my little Nendoroid binge shopping and I saw him, I had to get him. I have one other Naruto Nendoroid, and yeah, we'll get to him shortly. Kakashi does actually come with a couple different facial expressions. I just have him with his kind of standard look, you know, like the half closed eye and the headband at a tilt. But you can actually equip him with the headband straight and his Sharingan showing as well, but I just think he looks cool like this. That's just me. Next up, we will continue the Naruto trend with Itachi Uchiha. Itachi is my second favorite character in Naruto. No particular reason, I just think he's cool. So, you know, that's essentially my qualification for buying Nendoroids. If I think the character's cool, I get him. But yeah, so he has his ponytail, which was a pain to get in, and just default facial expression. Again, he does come with multiple facial expressions with, you know, his bleeding eyes after he uses his Sharingan too much. His cloak, which he has the very, very long sleeves. And yeah, so very cool. Apologies. Sorry about that. Itachi's arms decided to fall off as I was moving him off camera, but let's continue. So, our second Chainsaw Man character in this episode is going to be Kobeni, a fan favorite and absolutely one of my favorites. So, I have her posed with the panic face, because, you know, she's always panicking, poor girl, with the knife and with the peace sign from when they are trapped in the hotel. I think it's really cool, and I just think Kobeni is one of those characters that, spoiler alert for Chainsaw Man, most other characters die, but she lives, and it's not necessarily a good thing because the poor girl does nothing but suffer. And always remember that she lost the popularity contest to her own car. So, man, that's gotta be rough. Next up, probably one of my favorite Nendoroids that I have, and this is one of the ones that cost me quite a bit to get because I had to buy her on eBay. So that Nendoroid is Yotsuba, one of my all-time favorite slice of life mangas, if not just manga in general. I think the series is absolutely adorable. I did have to buy her on eBay for quite a lot, because she is a very rare Nendoroid, and I just have her posed standard. I didn't really add anything or change any of the faces, but yeah, I just think she looks good as is. Also, I know she has this haircut in the manga. However, I can't look at this Nendoroid with the green for tails without thinking of the 4chan logo, but that's maybe just because I am a terminally online loser. But maybe the jury is still out. Okie dokie. Next Nendoroid is a different one. This is taking a little bit of a break from manga Nendoroids. This is the Doom Slayer Nendoroid. This Nendoroid, I think, is probably the Nendoroid that I have that has the most accessories to him, and I don't even have them all equipped on him. So he has his super shotgun in his right hand, he has his flamethrower on his left shoulder, he has his wrist blade on his left forearm, and at the back we have a cacodemon. So really cool Nendoroid. I think the quality on this one is absolutely excellent. The helmet especially and the visor look really cool. I'm a big fan of when Nendoroids have like a second little addition, like the demon here or the lantern on the hunter. But yeah, let me just turn them around for you guys. So you can see the back of his helmet, you can see some of his forearms, and yeah. Okay, continuing with another Rivia Nendoroid, we have Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher series. This specifically is Geralt from The Witcher 3. I really like this Nendoroid. I think the details on the face are really good. You can see that he has some scars, which he has in the game. You can see the veins, which are darkened from him taking a lot of Witcher potions. He comes with both the steel sword, which he is holding, and the silver sword on his back. The silver sword being for monsters, the steel sword being for men. Yeah, I really like him. I think the eyes also look good. I'm a massive Witcher fan. You guys have probably seen that I have the Witcher sign tattoos on my right hand in some of the Artbook videos. And I have probably read the Witcher books about 3 or 4 times, but the Netflix series, we are not going to talk about that, and we are just going to move on. Next up, another video game Nendoroid. We have the Master Chief. Specifically, this is the Halo Infinite Master Chief. So, he's positioned a little bit weird. I'm not sure why. I might have to fix him after this. Actually, yeah, there we go, that's fine. So this is him in his Halo Infinite armor, with the energy sword in his left hand and the assault rifle in his right hand. Halo is probably my favorite game series of all time, just because I grew up playing the games. Bloodborne, as I said in the Artbook video, is my favorite game of all time. But Halo is my favorite game series of all time. I adore Halo to absolute bits. I love the books, I love the comics, I love the games. The TV show does not exist as far as I'm concerned, and neither does Halo 5. But so the last video game Nendoroid that I have in this batch, not the last one on this video, just the way I'm doing it is I'm taking about 8 Nendoroids down at a time from my shelf and going from there. So this Nendoroid is Luna Princess Ranni from Elden Ring. It's kind of hard to see her face with her large witch's hat, but she has her cloak, she has her fur arms that she has on the doll with the one eye closed. This Nendoroid, as far as accessories go, you know, compared to other Nendoroids, she doesn't have your typical accessories, but she does have, the different arms, then she has the cloak, then she has the face, and then she has the hat. So this Nendoroid, they are all excellent quality. There isn't a bad quality Nendoroid. However, Ranni really does feel like a premium Nendoroid as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so next we have a couple of manga Nendoroids. We will start off with the first literally me character that I ever encountered, and that is Tomoko. Tomoko is one of my favorite protagonists in manga ever. I have not watched the anime, however, I have read the manga. Because of some visual issues I have, reading digital manga is a pain, so I am forced to buy physical manga. So I have all the volumes of the manga, and it is an excellent read, and maybe I'm just crazy, but I found it very funny. She does come with accessories. She had a headset which unfortunately broke because my cat decided to devour it. Different faces and lots of different stuff that she can hold. But yeah, very cool Nendoroid and definitely one of my favorites. Next up, we have L from Death Note. Death Note was the very first manga that I ever read. Again, physical edition. I bought it at my local manga shop, and I bought the all-in-one edition, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a very good edition, don't get me wrong, but it's a small book, but is thick as can be, so it's crazy when you look at it compared to other mangas. But L has his typical look of, vague disinterest, spiky hair, slouched posture, all that stuff. I believe he actually does come with an accessory of having some kind of sweet in his hands, because, he's always eating sugary trash, but, world's greatest detective, the man can eat what he wants. Next up, we have Rei from Evangelion. I'm not the biggest Evangelion fan. I have read the manga, which is really good. I have not watched the anime. No particular reason why. I don't really watch anime. I don't know why. I prefer manga. But of the characters in Evangelion, Rei is my absolute favorite. I know there has been a war on the internet for decades now about who is better, Rei or Asuka, and my answer is Rei. So I'm probably gonna get flamed in the comments for many Asuka fans, but to me, Rei is the best. And if you have not read the Evangelion manga, I'd highly recommend it. From what I have heard, it is very different from the anime in terms of the ending, but apart from that, it's mostly the same stuff beat for beat. So let's continue. So next up, we have one of my favorite Nendoroids and favorite characters of all time, and that is Guts from Berserk. I'm a huge Berserk fan. I have all the volumes in physical copies. There's actually a 1/4 scale statue of Guts right next to me to my left. It's like, I don't know, 20 inches tall, but really cool Nendoroid. I just have him with his basic face. He does come with a face with more of a rage face, but he's holding his Dragon Slayer. This is him in his black swordsman attire, with his black cloak and everything. So really cool. I actually have the Griffith Nendoroid pre-ordered. I'm so glad that they are making more Berserk merchandise because there's not that much of it, and what there is really expensive. So to be able to get Berserk figures, especially high quality ones like Nendoroids, is amazing. So on to the next one. Anyway, let's continue. So unfortunately, for these Nendoroids, these are the last on my shelf. There are 3 or 4 that do not have bases. The bases are here somewhere. I just don't know where they are. So please pardon the lack of bases for some of them. So let's get started, and we have most of the anime ones in for this. So first up is Nagatoro from Don't Tease Me, Miss Nagatoro. Again, I've read some of the manga, have not watched the anime. It's not my favorite manga, but I mainly just read it because a friend of mine was reading it and I just wanted to kind of read it along with them. Character is cool though, I think. It is sort of funny, I guess. But the Nendoroid is great, and her facial expression in particular is great, so I absolutely love her. Next up, from another rom-com manga, that's going to be a theme throughout this, you might see. Next up is Marin from My Dress Up Darling. Again, manga, pretty good. Anime, have not seen it. So, I just have her with the peace sign. The standard face, no real accessories. I just think she looks good as is. Maybe this is just me, but when it comes to Nendoroids, I always just try or tend to leave them as they are. I don't kind of overdo or change much with them. I think they just look good in their standard positions and faces and stuff. I do change the arms a bit, but that's really about it. So that is her. Next up, for Nendoroids that do not have bases, is Big Boss or Venom Snake from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I for the longest time did not know this Nendoroid existed until I found out and went on eBay and instantly bought him for an embarrassing amount. So I have him with his trusty cigar. He's wearing the sneak suit and his robotic red arm. Big Boss is one of my favorite characters in all of media. As someone who is missing the right eye in real life, I always tend to gravitate and like characters that are missing their or have a missing eye, and so rarely in games and anime are people missing their right eye. Most of the time it's the left, but Big Boss and Venom Snake here are missing their right, so I absolutely love him. He has his horn, his beard, and his hair. He actually has both the Nendoroid and Venom Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5 has my exact haircut. Same hair color, same style, just with a little bit longer ponytail. But yeah, I think he's great, and I think the fact that he came with a cigar is even better. Next up is Makoto from Persona 5. Persona 5 is a game I enjoy a lot. I have not played many Persona games. I did enjoy Persona 5, but in my opinion, Persona 4 is a lot better. But, or story-wise anyway, the dungeons in Persona 4 are very, very tedious. So I have her with her Phantom Mask, in her Phantom Thieves outfit, just with the basic expression, basic hair, all that stuff. And this may be a controversial opinion, but in Persona 5, she is the best girl, and I will die on that hill. Speaking of Persona, another Persona character. Speaking of Persona, another Persona character that is going to be featured in this video is Joker. So I just have him equipped with standard arms, basic facial expression. I used to have him wearing his Phantom Mask, however I cannot find it for the life of me. So, but I think it looks really good as is. His coat is really good. I like the way it flares out at the bottom. Really solid. The red gloves, both in the game and in the Nendoroid, really pop out. So yeah, I think he looks good, and I have him and Makoto for my Persona 5 Nendoroids. Next up is another baseless Nendoroid. Not going to go into too much detail on this guy. This is the Stormtrooper Nendoroid. I bought him when I was buying some Stormtrooper 1/4 scale statues. Nothing really too special about him. He's just a Stormtrooper. I think he's pretty cool, but, you know, far from the best Nendoroid out there, I'll be honest. But I do not regret buying him at all. Next up, we have Komi from Komi Cannot Communicate. I adore this manga. It's easily one of my favorites. I have her with the wide-eyed expression that she's kind of famous for. There's two other facial expressions where her eyes are fairly normal, but I just think this one fits the character way more. She looks very nervous in this pose, which I think is kind of the point, based on her character. But yeah, I just think the massive eyes are really funny, both in the Nendoroid and in the manga. Next up, we have probably the rarest, actually not the rarest, I think Yotsuba is the rarest, but the second rarest Nendoroid in this collection anyway, and that is Hatsune Miku. Just a standard Hatsune Miku. I did have to buy her on eBay, and I regret nothing. I think she looks great. I'm a really big Miku fan. My desktop is all Miku stuff and my computer and everything, and I think she looks great. She is definitely one of the largest Nendoroids that I have, if not just in general, with her massive hair. But yeah, I think she looks really good and is one of my favorite Nendoroids that I have. Next is another version of Rei from Evangelion. This is the swimsuit version of Rei. So, funny story, I bought this one on accident. I was looking on eBay for the Rei Nendoroid, and I saw one, and I didn't really pay attention, and I bought it, and I thought it was going to be Rei, like the normal version of Rei, and then lo and behold, nope, the swimsuit version arrived, which gave me quite a little bit of a shock. And Nendoroid is really good. I have her position, you know, with her hands on her hips, but I don't know why. This Nendoroid just makes me feel like a creep by the very fact that I own it. Maybe I'm just being weird, but yeah, I'm just glad that I have the standard Rei at least. And for the next one is a Nendoroid that actually arrived today. This is Makoto from Ghost in the Shell. I really love Ghost in the Shell. The movies are really great. Standalone Complex is one of my favorite animes that I have actually seen. The animes that I do tend to watch are mostly older animes. I just like the older style of anime compared to the newer style. I have her posed here with holding a gun, but yeah, I think she looks really good. She comes with like a visor sunglass thing that you can put over her eyes, but I think she looks really good as is. And yeah, so she actually arrived earlier today, which is what made me think, hey, you know what? I should make a video about my Nendoroids. So there's only a couple left, so let's get to them. Next up, I have Revi from Black Lagoon. She is missing her base, unfortunately. When I say missing the bases, I mean they are in my room somewhere. I just don't know where they are. So I have her posed with a pistol. Normally she has 2 pistols, but I have been trying to get both the pistols in her hands for about 20 minutes and they just will not stay, so I decided just to put one in and just record the video. So I have her with her kind of smug face. Black Lagoon, I initially read the manga, which was excellent. Then I watched the anime in Japanese, which I always do. I always go sub versus dub. And then I saw a bunch of people saying how Black Lagoon is probably the best dubbed anime ever made. So I decided, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And it is absolutely right. If you have not watched the Black Lagoon dub, I would strongly recommend it, even if you are a diehard sub fan. It is so funny, and all of the voice actors do an amazing job. But Black Lagoon is an incredible series, great cast of characters, very diverse, very interesting, all of them really mentally unhinged, which I love, Revi especially. She has her little tattoo on the side of her arm there, and yeah. Okay, next up, 5 of these are all very similar. they're all from the same series. So first up is my 2B Nendoroid from Nier Automata. With her pod at the back, she has the blindfold on with the default expression, her hair, her hairband. I love what they did in the back with this extra little holster for the two swords, because in the game these swords are kind of floating behind her. So I think this is a really cool idea to incorporate how the game looks into the Nendoroid. And yeah, one of my favourite Nendoroids, mainly just because I love 2B so much. Next up, also from Nier Automata, is A2. A2, another one of my favourite characters, not just in Nier Automata, but just in games in general. She is an absolute badass. Her hair is kind of putting a bit of a shadow over her eyes. She has her sword, which I think looks so cool. I think it's probably the best looking sword in Nier Automata. And her outfit, which is very kind of worn, battle damaged compared to 2B's dress. And she has the long hair, probably due to, you know, being AWOL from Yoha. So yeah. Next up, also from Nier Automata, is 9S, or as his friends call him, Nines. So he is holding the black box, which he and 2B activate at the beginning of the game. He also has his pod, and he also has his sword in the same kind of holster pattern that, or holster design that the 2B Nendoroid had, with his blindfold, his short hair, and his outfit with the little buckle. Yeah, I absolutely love 9S, both Nendoroid and in the game. A lot of people don't like the 9S part of the story. They say it drags, but I really like it just because it gives a bit of an insight into who you're fighting. I won't go into spoilers in this video, but can you guys tell that I like Nier Automata? Next up, also from Nier, but not from Automata, is Kaine from Nier Replicant. I believe this Nendoroid is from the remake Nier Replicant version 1.22. Kaine is absolutely badass. She is one of the coolest characters that I have seen in the game in ages. She swears like a trooper, is an absolute beast in combat, and is just really cool in my eyes. And she suffers a lot of prejudice in game, which is awful. And yeah, so Kaine Nendoroid, absolutely worth it. And this is her with her kind of saw sword type of weapon, which I think is very cool and very unique. So the next Nendoroid and the last Nier Nendoroid is Nier himself. Again, this is the Nier Replicant version of Nier. I believe the Gestalt, or Nier Gestalt, Nier is a older man, whereas in Replicant he is a late teenager slash early 20s, which I think the younger Nier just suits the game a lot more. So he has his kind of spear halberd weapon. He also has a grimoire vice, which is one of the best supporting characters, I think, in any game. He's just so sarcastic and funny, and him and Kaine bouncing off each other in the game is just pure comedy gold. I won't give any examples just for spoilers, but yeah, so that is the end of the Nendoroids for this episode. However, there are three little figures that I just want to show you that are not Nendoroids, but are very Nendoroid-esque, so I thought I would show them off very, very quickly. First off, we have the Wolf Knight from Elden Ring. Really cool. I can't remember the name of the company that makes him. I have a couple other figures from this company as well. I will post the link to that company's website in the comments below, but he's equipped with his sword, his armor. This is like the kind of trailer armor for Elden Ring, in case you haven't played it, but really cool. Not an Nendoroid, but I just thought would fit in with this type of video. Next are two Dark Souls figures. I'll make this very quick. One of them is a Black Knight, so he has his helmet, which is burnt, his shields, his greatsword. If you have played Dark Souls, then you are very familiar with this sword and Black Knights. Really cool, and their weapons are some of the coolest in the game. Not the best weapons in my opinion, but some of the coolest. And yeah, I absolutely love this guy. This guy I got on Etsy. However, the shop that I bought him from is now closed, and the next figure I also bought from the same shop. So let's move on to him. And this last figure is Gwendolyn from Dark Souls 1. This is Gwyn's youngest son, who was raised as a woman. He is very, very skilled in lunar magic. The royal family and Gwyn's family are all about, you know, the sun and lightning and light and all that, whereas Gwendolyn was more proficient in lunar magic, so Gwyn decided to raise him as a lady. There's a lot of memes about Gwendolyn, but I actually genuinely think Gwendolyn is a really cool character. His boss is pretty easy, but enough about the game. The figure is absolutely stellar. The detail is great. The detail on his helmet is great. The way he's so pale is perfect, and the snakes that he has for legs are amazing. I wish this store was still available. One, so I could buy some more figures, because there were more that I did not buy, and two, so I could link it down below. So that, everybody, is going to be it for part 1 of my Nendoroid showcase. I am going to let you guys decide, do you want me to continue doing this? There will be 3 parts to this series, this being part 1, but if you guys are not interested, please let me know. I won't be offended or anything. I just don't want to make content that you guys do not like, but if you do enjoy it, then I am more than happy to make more. So thank you for watching. If by chance you are listening to this video while relaxing or trying to go to sleep, this is the end of the video, so I would close off now in case an ad wakes you up. Thank you so much for watching. Your viewership means the world to me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Goodbye.